Why does life feel like it's not changing? Why do we keep running into the same problems, facing the same struggles, and wondering why nothing ever gets better? And we love to say it's not my fault. And we blame our circumstances, other people, even the enemy. But what if the real problem is actually us? What if the reason we're stuck isn't because life is unfair, but because we refuse to take responsibility for our own choices? So today we're talking about accountability, why we avoid it, how it keeps us trapped, and what happens when we finally stop making excuses and start owning our own actions. And we love to blame other people because it's hard to admit that we might be the reasons things aren't going right in our lives. And I've done this myself now. I told myself I didn't finish college because it got too expensive. But the truth is, I wasn't actually applying myself the way that I should have. I lost my first real job and I blamed it on my boss not liking me, but in reality, I said I verified everything was loaded on the truck when it wasn't. That was my mistake. It was on me. And blaming others was easier though. It took the weight off my shoulders. It made me feel justified by what was going on. And over time, I started believing my own excuses, convincing myself that they were true. And I kept repeating the same stories over and over, not wanting to face the reality that the real issue wasn't my circumstances, but it was me. And I know I'm not the only one because we do this in so many areas of our life. We say, I'm always broke because I don't make enough money, but am I budgeting, saving, or managing what I already have wisely? I can't lose weight because my metabolism is slow, but am I eating right, staying consistent, or am I making excuses? No one ever checks on me, but when was the last time I checked in on someone else? I never have time to work out, but somehow I find time for social media, Netflix, and everything else I want to do. I don't feel close to God, but am I praying, reading my Bible, and seeking Him, or am I just waiting for Him to do all the work? And the truth is, accountability isn't easy. And it's hard to admit when we're the ones standing in our own way, but until we do, we'll keep going in the same circles, telling the same stories, and wondering why nothing ever changes. And I think about Adam and Eve. They made a bad choice, but they refused to take accountability. Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. Everyone sitting there pointing fingers instead of owning up to their own actions. Meanwhile, I can imagine Satan was probably just sitting there laughing, watching them, shifting the blame to one another. Now, God held both Eve and Satan accountable for what they did, but look at his response to Adam. He told him, "Because you have chosen to listen to your wife and eat from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from, the ground is not cursed because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat from it all the days of your life," he told him. So in other words, Adam, you knew better. You knew what I told you not to do, and you did it anyway. Adam had the opportunity to take accountability, but he chose not to. And I can't help but wonder, what if he had taken responsibility? Would things have turned out any differently? We'll never know. But what we do know is that God gives us chance after chance to take responsibility for our actions, to own up to our own mistakes and to grow from them. And the problem is, too often we ignore those chances. And then we wonder why we keep going down the same paths, down the same roads. And we say, I'm always broke because I don't make enough money, but every paycheck, we spend it without a plan, refusing to budget and then wonder why we're still struggling. I can't lose weight because my metabolism is slow, but we keep eating the same food, skipping workouts, and expecting the number on the scale to magically change. No one ever checks on me, but we never take the time to reach out to others. And then we sit in our own loneliness, wondering why no one is there. I don't feel close to God, but we barely pray, never open our Bibles, and still expect to feel His presence. This is what a lack of accountability does. It keeps us stuck in cycles, repeating the same mistakes, blaming everything and everyone but ourselves. But until we own up to our own choices, nothing will change. We'll just keep going down the same paths, hoping for different results when the truth is, it starts with us. And the Bible makes it clear about accountability is that it's our responsibility. Galatians 6:5 says each person must carry their own load. That means we can't go through life expecting others to take the blame for our mistakes or wanting someone else to fix what we broke. Proverbs 28:13 takes it even further when it says, whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them find mercy. When we hide from the truth, we refuse to admit our faults. We're only making things worse. But when we're honest with God and with ourselves, that's when real change begins. So how do we stop the cycle? How do we break free from the habit of blaming others and start taking ownership of our actions? First, we have to pause and ask ourselves, what role did I play in this? Instead of immediately blaming someone else, take a step back and reflect. Did I make a poor decision? Did I ignore red flags? Did I handle the situation poorly? Self-reflection is the first step to accountability. Be willing to receive correction. Proverbs 12:1 puts it bluntly, whoever hates correction is stupid. And let's be real, none of us like being called out. But sometimes the truth we don't want to hear is the truth we need to hear. Surround yourself with people who hold you accountable, not enablers. And it's easy to find people who will tell us what we want to hear. But we need friends and mentors and leaders who will tell us what we need to hear, even when it's uncomfortable. And then we have to change our mindset. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Moving from victimhood to growth allows us to take control of our lives instead of feeling like life is just happening to us. And at the end of the day, accountability is the key to transformation. The question is, are we willing to take it? So now it's time to ask yourself, are you ready to take accountability? Are you willing to stop pointing fingers and start making real changes in your life? Drop a comment and let me know. What's one area you've been shifting the blame instead of taking ownership? Let's be real about it now, because that's where real growth starts.